All right, welcome everybody to the Sweet Spot Global Leadership Summit, where we are speaking all week about how visionary organizations and their leaders can thrive from the inside out. And I'm super honored to bring the incredible Irena Jakimova back here again for the second time. Irena, I'm so glad to have you here today.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. Congratulations once again for doing this for the second time. Last year's summit was really wonderful, both for us speakers and for the viewers and attendees from what I heard. So I'm really glad and honored and happy to be here again on a different topic, on a different angle this year, and everything in the same area that we are playing and contributing. And it is developing leaders to make a ripple effect with their leadership to create a better world through better organizations, I hear this year. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes, I found that I've been actually working with organizations and they've brought me in to help their leaders. So I recognize that I'm serving kind of two communities, the individual leader, but also the organizations that have leaders. So it's a little bit of a change this year, but it's the same message. It's really about how we can be our best selves. And I know that you're going to be talking to us all about how to really focus on our presence and how much that matters in leadership and in life. But before we do, in case anyone doesn't know you, Irena, I just think I'll do a quick little introduction and then we'll jump into your topic today. So Irena is a female empowerment and executive coach for ambitious women committed to leading with excellence while living more authentic lives, which totally fits with our whole theme of this event. And as an executive coach for a decade, and that's amazing because that's longer than I've been coaching, so congratulations for that. She's been focusing on seeing people and seeing in people what they cannot see, on supporting them to find and use their strengths in order to deploy their potentials and live their next version of themselves, which sounds amazing. I think everyone needs this kind of person in their life to really see our best and bring that out. And so Irena loves to use a holistic approach where she coaches the whole person using NLP, female empowerment tools, and many other coaching approaches to get the results the clients desire. And I know that you're really an expert in this communication and this presence piece. So I'd love to hear about what you would like to share with us today, Irena.
All right. Thank you so much again. Yes, actually, it's been whole my career dealing with some sort of communications. It was more than a decade in public relations and advertising and communications. And it was sort of from an entity, from organization towards a certain public, right? So from inside out. And then in the last decade, after moving, transiting actually from the corporate private sector advertising agencies and working with international clients, I did a few years in the United Nations office, also with communication of bigger topics, bigger themes, projects, programs, etc. And then, as you said, in the past 10 years, I've been training and coaching people, mostly leaders, managers, and specifically women in the past few years, to become better versions of themselves, to achieve better results, better relations, to have better life, wherever that applies in the professional area or private area. And then when we speak of communication, we have heard so many times that it's one of the essential, if not the essential feature, the essential characteristic, task, or skill that a leader can have or should have, because we people as social beings need and use communication either to present ourselves, goals, ideas, or to convey them to the other person. And then when we speak about top traits of leaders and how to use communication, and I must tell you that it's a skill that one can learn and improve through their work, through their life. I've been working with many managers on that skills, on that part of their leadership, because once they became so good in their professional area expertise, and usually some of them were engineers or in any area that did not really entail working with people or managing people, getting things done through people. When they come to a leadership position, when they are sort of advanced, promoted, they really sense the need to learn these skills. So
Mm-hmm.
I've witnessed people not knowing that they need it, then realizing that they need it, not believing that it can be taught or changed, and finally I've seen them having it learned and applied in a different manner, and wow, being happy with different results.
Oh,
So
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
communication, right, is essential, and we all know that we shouldn't repeat it again. Yet, what I wanted to underline is when we speak of this, your presence matters. I
Mm-hmm.
have approached it and sort of contemplated for this occasion from few angles. From few
Okay.
angles.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is uh, the physical part. When we say the presence of someone, I want to emphasize the importance of multidimensional skills of communication. So we don't only communicate by what we say, how we say it, it's also our physical presence, what we do with our face, with our body, what we call body language.
Right.
And many
Mm-hmm.
times I explain to people that thousands and thousands years before the speech was developed, before that part of the brain was developed, people communicated through movements, through body language. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
language we all know, parts of our brains understand. And I'm telling people, attendees to my trainings or personal clients, I'm telling them it works whether you know it or not, whether you admit it or not. So if you
Mm-hmm.
know it, you can do something about it and use it as a skill to better communicate with people. If you don't know it, sometimes it can work against you when you don't know what you do with your body, what you do with your presence. That's one part. So, it takes a whole day or 2 days to work on these part of body language, of using it in our communication. And then I want to go deeper. It's not only the body and how we move, it's our whole energetic presence, the
Mm-hmm.
energetic
Absolutely.
signature, right? Or seal that we leave with our presence. It's, I would say, the essence of us, who we are. And
Mm-hmm.
this is what people call charisma, right? We all have it. Some people express it easier and use it, sense it easier. Some people still need to practice it, to learn it. So, charisma is your whole presence. What
Mm-hmm.
else do I entail under that? Active listening. Listening with your whole body, with your whole presence, with even bigger energy level and circle around you than just your ears, right? Listening what has not been said, listening with your eyes, with all the senses. So being present matters in the whole communication because you leave your signature, but you also act as a scanner, as a
Right.
right?
Okay.
You need to act as a scanner for the other person that you are communicating to, communicating with, or if it's presenting in front of other people. Everything that we say, speak, present before more than two people, it's public speaking.
Ah,
It's
okay.
presentation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So communication is when we do it two-way, and public speaking would be when we present in front of other people. The next level I would like to speak and to emphasize when we say your presence matters, and we may go later in a bit more details around that. It is when we speak about our personal brand.
Mm-hmm. So I'd love to hear from you, Irena, about the personal brand and tell me more about how that impacts your communication.
Right. Well, when I speak under the name of presence in a broader way, it's, as I said, your signature, your essence. It's what we call a personal brand. So let's just let's pay a little attention to it because it is part of our communication, whether we know it or not, whether we want it or not. Under personal brand and presence in communication, I would like to understand and to put there in that noun uh, everything that we stand for, our values, right?
Okay.
Then our past deeds. What have we done before? What have we done as legacy, as previous cases, similar, not similar? So everything that we've been doing so far, it speaks about our brand. It speaks about who we are, what do we stand for, what and how are we unique and different from the others, right? How we do it
Okay.
differently, what's different with us. Then under brand, we may also consider the colors that we wear, the colors that we surround us, or when we speak of written communication, what colors do we use in our posts or even email, memorandum, website, whatever, brochures, etc. Colors also speak of us because that's the universal language of the whole world. Universe speaks to us in colors. It's coded language, colors, numbers, etc. Then what words we use, how we express ourselves, right? It's also under the everyday communication. Put yourself in a place, in a position in the organization, and ask yourself how you speak to other people. How do you speak to your colleagues, your peers, your team members, subordinates, or higher management? Observe how you speak, which words do you use, right? And that's all speaking of your personal brand, speaking of your presence. And there was an excellent quote, I don't really remember from where I have it from. It says, presence is what is missing when you are not there. So,
Oh, nice. Okay.
right. Personal signature, personal seal, or personal brand. You can also think about it, and I invite our viewers, our participants to think about it, sit down and write 5 things, or even 10 if you can. What's missing when you are not there?
That's an
What
interesting
do
way of
you
thinking about it, because I've thought about it the other way. Who do we want to be, and how are we going to emulate or become that presence? But you're saying almost the other. Look at
yeah,
what we
and
bring already and what's missing when we're not there.
when we're not there, so what people are missing actually, what do we want to leave as a trail? What do we want people to say about us when we are not there? What do we want people to connect us to? And we come back to the values, to our deeds. So it's all together, and it's branding, personal branding. No matter if you are business owner, freelancer, free professional specialist, or part of an organization, you don't create the branding by creating logos, colors, symbols only. It's the final expression of your essence, of your presence, right? What do you bring with yourself in every situation? What do you stand for? What's your knowledge? What's your skills, capabilities, attitude, personality? How you radiate with your energy when you communicate to people. And many times we communicate strongly even when we don't speak, right?
Right.
Many
Yes.
times we communicate strongly just by entering the room or looking at people or preparing to start a presentation, conversation. Have that in mind as well. All those little seconds, little parts when you don't have to speak, but your presence communicates. This is what I think, what I want to put under this umbrella of presence matters.
This whole idea of who you're being and your energy, that's not really a level I've really thought of the branding to. I've thought about it how we intentionally show up, but really how we're naturally showing up is what it sounds like you're describing. So I'm wondering if you can kind of just talk a little bit more about that piece.
Yes, well, it's connected with authenticity, right? Who we really are in our deepest or truest or central essence of energy, of thoughts, beliefs. What do we want to present to the world? What do we want to be to the world also? And then also what we know, what we have learned, how we contribute to the world. That's our communicating through our brand. And as I said, I will reinforce it again. It also counts, is valid and useful for when you are in an organization, right? You are also creating a personal brand there among all those
Mhm.
people, or whether in your department or wherever you are, in which position you are also consciously or unconsciously creating a personal brand. And this is when I say, what do you want people to say about you when you're not there?
Right, because I've known people that leave a negative impact and I don't think they're aware of it. They're
Yeah.
always late, they complain, rushing around, that don't have that ability to be, present with somebody physically, let alone energetically.
Right.
So how would somebody kind of tap into that awareness piece if this isn't something that they've thought about before?
Right, right. Or sometimes exactly what you were saying. Sometimes people do even benevolent things and good things, but they don't do or they don't act as they want to act and show themselves. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we tap into that? First, just by being conscious, uh, and second, by putting an intention before any communication, any entering in any space, in any conversation. It also counts for virtual meetings that are getting more
Mm-hmm.
and more frequent and used more and more. Meetings or presentations or conferences or larger meetings, whatever. So I invite you to think about how you can be more intentional in what you want to present. What do you want your
Mm-hmm.
presence to show, right? Not just the words, also pay attention to your body, to your movements, to your speed, tone of voice, and how you express it, how you say it. And then also be aware of your state, of your internal state. How do you feel about it,
Mm,
right?
right.
You
Yes.
know, when I was getting ready for this interview, and I also put a perfume, and they asked me, "Why are you putting a perfume when you are going to put it in the camera?"
Right.
Well, that I want to go into that state. I want to feel, and I want to share and transcend that feeling. Because people
Mm-hmm.
will feel it, will get it. I want them to feel how I feel, right?
Yes. Oh, I love it.
And
That's great.
that's the intentionality, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you present yourself? And also there is a third layer or third approach to all this sentence or motto that I have, your presence matters, which is not something that I invented. I guess it came to me one day, and I guess it has been also used. It's the layer of self-doubt. It's the layer of
Mm-hmm.
so-called imposter syndrome, right? When we doubt ourselves and ask, oh, whether am I going to say something, whether I am important, whether is there anything that I can say or contribute, or the very famous question, who am I to say that, to
Mm.
uh, present that, or show up like that? And this is the part when I want to say your presence matters,
Ah,
right?
yes. Mm-hmm.
It brings change to some situation. It brings an important message to some people. It shows a different way, right? How you show up it is what I want to say by your presence matters, because when you show up and when you deliver your message, it doesn't have to be a big speech. Sometimes it's when you deliver a message in a meeting, in
Mm-hmm.
a peer meeting or whatever group meeting regular we have in a corporation, or whether we are part of the team or we are team leaders, whatever. Just have in mind that your presence matters, with your words, with your voice, with your values, with what you did before, with what you stand for, with how you present it. There is always someone that will benefit from that.
Yeah, that's a really good point because I
Right.
know some
So
people
here,
struggle with that.
right,
Yes.
I
So
want to
there's value.
crash all doubts and
Mm.
questions. Oh, whether I should say something. Again, I tried to make a blend today of communication, public speaking, personal brand, and it's all intertwined, you know.
Mm.
again, you don't have to speak in a hall or on a virtual event of 300, 3,000 people. Maybe you will have to stand up in your conference room or just raise your hand and speak before 10 people. But I want to encourage people to lay doubts aside and just to remember that their presence matters, their message matters, or whatever they have to say in that occasion. Maybe it's an idea, maybe it's a proposal, maybe it's a report, or just a view on how things are going in that area or in that department or project or whatever.
I think that's a powerful way to kind of pull it all together. So being
Right.
aware of how we're showing up, but also recognizing that we are valuable and we need to show up and bring our genius and all of our experience in this whole uniqueness that you're describing forward. So this is beautiful. And I really find sure everybody's going to find something inspirational here today. I know it's been a great reminder for me to kind of dig deeper into this brand and how we show up every day. So I'm wondering if you can tell us how people can find out more about you, Irena.
We'll share my website, and I guess you'll write it, post it. It's www.inspirit, it's the verb.com.
Perfect. Yes, and I'll link that below for sure.
The website and a few of the things that I'm working with my company or as a person, it's all blended together there, and people can find a little bit about us, what we do, how we do it, and how they could eventually cooperate with us or use our presence, my team's presence, to benefit from that. So
wonderful.
Benefit from our contribution in these areas, whether it's through training or individual coaching, group coaching. Yes, this is what we do. We work in our country, but also regionally, internationally. And as I said, I focus mostly on working with women, but we also cover and work with managers, leaders, executives that are male, female, doesn't matter. We work with them as well.
Wonderful. Well, that's great, because I know that this communication piece is it. It's how we take who we are, like you're saying, and make a difference in the world. So if that's not going well, if it can be up leveled, then that can make such a big difference. So I know you have a freebie you're wanting to share with us, the 5 pillars of your personal brand. So I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about that as well.
Yes, we will. My team and I tried to compile a nice little guide or reminder where to start, what to think about, how to build your brand. And as I said, it can be as if you are an entrepreneur, business owner, but it can also be if you are a manager, director, or any professional position anywhere in the business world or in any part of organizations that might not even be in the business, right? I've worked with international organizations that help development issues, etc. Everywhere we make our brand as a person, as blended with the job and the contribution that we make with that job. And we need to pay attention on how we communicate and how we make a difference with our presence in any situation, in any case.
Absolutely. And I completely agree with you, Irena, how it's so important that whatever role we're in, we are making an impact with how we show up in our presence. And so what I love that you've shared with us today is how to dive into the details of that, to really be intentional about it and to understand the value that we're bringing beyond maybe even what we're thinking about day to day. So I'm super inspired about that. And I'm sure everyone's going to love this presentation. So I just want to say thank you for being here again this year and for sharing such wonderful, inspiring topic with everyone today.
Thank you, Sarah. Your initiatives, your presence definitely matters. And I hope my presence tonight, today, will make a difference and impact somebody's life, career, professional area, wherever. Or
I'm sure it will.
Right.
Yes, it will for sure. So thank you so much, Irena. It's super great. And I love how you tied all this presence pieces together. What a great, memorable way to take it away as a topic to explore further. So I'll link everything below the video and people can check that all out there. So thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.